off and rolling on your Thursday. It is Dirty Air. Welcome in, friends. Man, football Thursday. Who cares about any of that stuff? Man, we've got lots of cool stuff to talk about. My name is Rodney Rodriguez. I'm glad to be with you guys. Clean air is good. Times like this, dirty air just a little bit better. Welcome into the program. Excited about what we have to do this evening. And this is going to be a very centric, as always, when I say centric, the show is presented by Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet in Brandon, Mississippi. Of course, they are proud sponsors of this program. Also, GM Performance, everything that happens with those great folks there. And I do want to, before I dive in and talk about what we're going to be doing tonight, I'm so excited that I got to be a part of the racing action this past weekend in Jackson, Mississippi with the All-American 60. Watching the super late models rip around that racetrack. By the way, coming up here in just a couple of minutes, the winner of that winner of that race, Neil Baggett, who bagged $6,000, is going to join in. I'm going to talk to him, and then a little bit later on, right around the bottom of the hour, going to talk to Grant Thompson. Of course, he's been on this program many times before. However, Grant, who will be racing this weekend at Five Flags Speedway, and I do want to talk about the snowball increase coming up at the end of the year with Tim and all the great folks over there. I'll talk about that at the end of the program. But Grant, his first time on the racetrack in a dirt late model, on dirt at all. So I'll talk to him a little bit later on as well. But as always, Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet, GM Performance, best price you're going to find on crate engines and GM Performance parts in the country. 602s, 604s, drivetrain, powertrain, all of that. They are going to be your spot to get that in the country. I promise you that. There's a QR code right there where you can click that. Ryan Polk is going to set you up, message me. I'll put you in touch with the right folks, whatever the case may be with any of that. But I tell you, GM Performance, Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet, Brandon, Mississippi, they are going to set you up with everything you need, best price that you're going to find in the country. And they do support this program and short track racing all around the country. Very excited to be partnered up with them. And like I said, a great time hanging out with them this past weekend as we got to do some really cool stuff out in Jackson. As we talk about that, let's go to the hotline for the first time tonight. And this is the man, the class of the field in Jackson. Man, what a big win this past weekend. Welcome to Dirty Air right here on Racing America and RodneyRodriguezRacing.com. We welcome in Mr. Neil Baggett. Neil, how we doing, sir?
Man, good. How about you?
I'm doing well, my friend. I'm doing well. Before we dive into talking about everything with the race and the weekend and everything for you, I'd love your thoughts, man. I got to be there and be a part of the All-American there for the first time. Dude, that right there, that is just old school, fun, short track racing with a lot of good people doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, it was good. It felt good to get the win. That comp series, they're tough, man. You know, they're some of the best regional talent in the South, and anytime you can go win with those guys, you know, you can go home proud, you know, and something to talk about, and you can think about, you know, the work you've done and say, well, it paid off, you know. So we was excited. Our crew was excited and just able to finally get it done at Jackson.
Yeah. Talk about that part right there for you. I mean, I know this race right here, I know a lot of folks circle this as one they want to win, and a lot of guys have really tried to do it for a long time. But to finally put that one in the bank there, literally, that's got to be a pretty cool feeling.
It was. I've won in Jackson and modifieds and crate, and you know, just I've led several super races and run second in several. Just I couldn't seem to get the job done. I had two flats leading, got caught up in a wreck with lap traffic one time leading several years ago, and that All-American 60, that's one of their biggest races, and it's been around for a long time. And I'm buddies with the guy that owns it, Raymond. He's a super good guy, and he told me one day, he said, you know, this track owes you one, and I felt like it did, you know, and we had texted a little bit earlier in the week, and it just seemed to work out. Our car's been really good lately, and we've won several races lately, and just Jackson, just I don't know, it just everything worked out, you know. So yeah. We had a darn flat. I had a tire going down with about 20 to go, and the car started trying to wheelie a little bit. But you know, I don't like a one-lane track, but it kind of started getting one lane right there with about 15 to go or 20 to go, and it actually just fell into our lap. You know, sometimes you got to have luck racing. People don't realize that, but sometimes things got to line up for you, and it lined up for us.
Yeah, no, that's not a bad thing. Neil, I know for us, like I'm in Texas, so us with
Yep.
the dirt late models, I mean, we don't have the grip that you guys have up there. For you guys, 60 laps. I mean, to me, when I saw 60 laps, that seems like a hell of a long race. Is that a long race for you guys up there?
Well, it came. Our races are usually 30 or 40 laps.
Yeah,
sometimes
okay.
50, but 60 laps was it was pretty tiring, or trying, I guess you could say. It just seems like, that's just longer for something to happen to knock you out of contention, or not, anything just to take it away from you. And, when I looked up on the board, I try not to look at stuff like that, but the car seemed to kind of start wanting to wheelie more and more. And I was, picked the left front up, and I was like, man, I don't know how. I was praying no cautions, because I just think the heat build up, us keep running it, kept the tire up, because it had less than 4 pounds in it after the race. And I was just praying no caution. I looked up one time and I said, God, it's got to be like 2 or 3 to go. And it was lap 46. I'm like, oh my Lord,
man.
Just, come on. And anyhow, we got to the end. He showed 2 sticks, and I was like, just drive straight. And it worked out like it was supposed to, I guess.
Yeah, hey, no doubt. Neil, talk about. I mean, I was fascinated watching you guys out there on the racetrack. I mean, the competition. Obviously, you had a lot of big hitters in there. I mean, yourself included. But just talk about ripping around these racetracks. Those supers right there, man. There is no other way to say it. That is balls to the wall racing. What you guys are doing out there. Just kind of speak to that, man. Those cars are so brilliant to watch you guys ripping that racetrack.
Man, it is. I can start off by saying, when I was a little kid, my dad took me around. I mean, on the front straightaway at these racetracks. He was too cheap to go by in the pits. And I would watch Jeff Purvis and Don Hester and just the greats in our area. Billy Moyer would come around. And I was like, man, those, the super late models. I mean, that's just kind of what, not knocking any other class, because I've raced all those other classes. I know. Sure. But super late models gives you a chill that nothing else can give you. And I've raced all those other classes. So I know, sitting in the seat, that super late model puts you back in that seat like it takes your breath when you first romp on it, or stomp on it when you get out there. And I try to tell buddies that race crate or whatever, and they want to and a lot of them can, but they want to move up to that super. And I'm like, man, it's different. Instead of having extra time to think about things, I'm coming off turn 4 and I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do in turn 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got to plan way ahead, and because it happens so fast. It's just like that wall. You run against that wall, and I used to not do it as much, but it just seems like I like to run that lip, that wall. And we've had better luck up there lately, and it's just everything happens so fast, and you just can't blink, and it's a feeling I can't describe. It's just like somebody killing their first deer. But it's just living it over and over and over again every time I get in the car. It's just, it's amazing,
Yeah, it was watching you guys coming out of the corner. It's like, man, they're going to hit the fence, and you didn't. I mean, you never did. I mean, you just manipulated that car to get it around. I'd love to get your opinion, just kind of on the state of dirt track racing there, because I know here in Texas, we've got factory stocks that are out of control. Everybody wants to do that. They're cheaper, so they say. Limited modifieds. The modifieds are kind of falling off. What's happening there out your way? I mean, because I know super late models. I mean, that's a very distinct type of thing for huge events. What is kind of the sense out there where you guys are?
Well, I mean, it's no secret. Super late model racing is very expensive.
Yep.
I mean, a new super motor is a minimum of $40,000, $50,000. I mean,
Damn.
Some of those motors are $60,000 just for the motor. Mm-hmm. And it just, people are buying $700,000-$800,000 rigs, so it's no secret that they're expensive. And all these other classes come along, crate come along, and street stock. These other classes are supposed to be more economical and stuff. But I know for a fact they're getting $50,000 for street cars now. So I'm not sure if anything is economical anymore. It's all expensive however you do it. But late models just seem to be, in our area, a dying breed. I'm not sure if the major cost, if people, the working man that's got a really good job, I guess he can kind of get in more of an economical car and spend $30,000 or so and make it instead of spending $100,000. I understand that. And like I say, I'm going to tell you, I mean, I have really good sponsors. I could not do super racing if I didn't have the help I had. So I'm going to throw that out there, not like I've got all that stuff, So it's just, I don't know, it's a dying breed. I wish that I wish there was a way we could get more. When I was a kid, we had super races every Friday and Saturday night somewhere. I could go race supers, on a local show.
Yeah.
There is no local supers no more. If you don't follow the state series, or if you go on comp, or you can go Hunt the Front or Southern All-Star, you're going to have to run a series to run a super race. There is nothing no more.
Yeah.
And to be honest, no super is going to show up for $1,200 or $1,500 to win.
That's right.
They're just not going to do it, because I know for a fact it costs $1,000 a race for us to go to the races. By the time we pay pit passes, fuel, entry fee, and that's not tearing up nothing. That's just to get in our toter, fuel, and just what our expenses are at the track. It's $1,000, so you can't race for nothing. But I don't know, man. I wish there was a way we could turn all this around and put a crunch on some of these expenses, but I don't see it happening no time in the future.
And it's so funny because, like in Texas, we have like the factory stocks that we have here. It's guys that say, "Look, it's $30 a tire, asphalt pull off." But hell, they want to spend $20,000 on the chassis. So it's like, okay, where are you going to put your money? That seems to be the thing that I see across the country. No matter if it's dirt or asphalt, whatever the case is.
It's crazy. Tires like retail now, like super tires, like around $235 a tire.
Damn.
I mean, I remember being just 7, 8 years ago. I don't know how long it was, like on $100 tire. That was a tire deal. Tires may have been like $130 then.
Wow.
And I was getting tires for $100. And, I wanted to complain about that then. I want to say, God, $100 a freaking tire. Well, if I go and burn 3 tires, that's $300. And then you got to groove and mount them, and it's more work. And now it's, retail on them now is almost $240. And,
crazy.
A drum of fuel is $700.
Yeah.
I mean, a drum of fuel, it's just, it's crazy. But, if to run up front, like I do, you're going to have to spend the money on everything. You can't shortchange none of this other stuff. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just in a situation. I don't know if it's the economy we live in. It's just everything's evolving. It's just, man, everything is just crazy. I mean, just look at the fuel prices. It reflects everything. So.
No, man, it's out of control. It doesn't matter which way you look at that. So Neil, you win this one, $6,000. That's a good payday. And I don't even dare to ask what you had to spend to get there, because I don't want to hear if you wound up in the red. But so what's next? I mean, what do you have left coming up the rest of the year out there with the supers? I mean, because the supers, like you said, it's a dying breed, but it's one of those things like on pavement that we talk about here on Racing America all the time. That's the show. That's the show. When they come to town, that's cool stuff. So what you got left this year, my man?
We're going the 22nd. I think it's the 22nd, 23rd of this month to MAG. They've got that cotton picking 100,
nice.
And I believe it's the next weekend we'll go to Greenville for that. They got a big race, the Gumbo Nationals. We'll go there. They all pay, like MAG pays like maybe $5,000 and $12,000, and then Greenville pays like $5,000 and $10,000 or $5,000 and $12,000, and then there's a race or two in between there. I can't remember, but then we come back to Wynot for the Fall Classic, and Wynot. I live in Columbus. I don't live less than 10 miles from Magnolia Speedway, and it's a super nice place. But Wynot Speedway is like my home track. I mean, I've got probably more friends down there than I do here. I mean, I've just got, I spend a lot of time with people down there, just at the river, just going and hunting and doing stuff. And it's, I want to win that race. I've led it 3 or 4 times, and I've just, a couple years ago we led 40 laps, and I run second to Herb Jr. And I just, we've been close. And man, before I get, and my time is coming short. I'm 40 years old. I'm about ready. My little boy races go-karts. He's 6, and he's wanting to go race every weekend. I'm actually at ball practice right now. I just walked to the back of the field.
Okay.
I help coach, and I walk back here so I can talk. But when you got a young kid like that, and he's got ambitions, and he wants to go racing go-karts, he wants to play ball, and he wants to deer hunt. I mean, it's priorities change. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I got another couple years left in me that I'm about ready to do something. So I'm trying to get I'm trying hard to win right now. I'm trying hard. We should have won 8 or so races this year, and I've won 4. I've won actually the last 4 out of 6, and we've had a really good year so far. I'm just trying to, we ain't got many races left. We ain't raced a whole lot, but we ain't got many left. But I'm trying to make it happen for the end of the year. I've got some big races, but that Why Not, that Fall Classic, that's if anybody wants to come to a good racetrack, it's I would put that race. They need to have national races like that XR Series or World of Outlaws. They need to be there because it would rank up there with them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We'll put that in front of people and get them out there for that, man. Way to go this weekend, dude. It was a joy to watch you out there, man. It's so cool, man. Like I said, big balls racing right there with you guys in the super late models. Congratulations on that big payday and taking home that All-American 60. And go do what you need to be doing, man. Go coach that team, dude. That's more important than doing this kind of stuff.
It is. He's my best friend. I appreciate you guys having me on, okay?
You got it, man. Take care.
See.
You bet. There he is. That is your winner of the All-American 60 this past weekend at Jackson Motor Speedway. That was the 12th annual Jackson Motor Speedway All-American 60 presented by Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet, who is also the title sponsor on this program. There he is one more time. Neil Baggett with a phenomenal win right there. There was a loaded field of race cars that were out, and it was so cool. Once they got into the heat races, they got into some of the alphabet soup and all of that cool stuff. Just a joy to watch those cars going around Jackson Motor Speedway. And I do want to talk about one thing before I hit the break here and we get ready for Grant Thompson. I get to hit a lot of different dirt tracks around the country. And I do want to commend the great folks there at Jackson, because I got to tell you, the track prep on that place was tremendous. Once you saw them get up to the top and start laying on the cushion and doing all the different things right there, that's when you saw a little bit of dust. That was the only time that you saw that. I mean, the track rubbered in really nice, and like Neil was just talking about right there in their race, they were kind of heading down to the bottom. It did get a little one groove in different spots right there, depending on the race. But I do want to give a big shout out to the folks there at Jackson, because they did a hell of a job. And again, appreciating all the hospitality that they showed me right there at Jackson Motor Speedway. Good to see a different track. Good to head to Jackson. And I will say, if you ever go to Jackson Motor Speedway, it might be kind of hard to find. So hit me up. Twitter address is right down there at the bottom of the screen, and I'll tell you how to get there. Coming up, stick around. We're going to stay on that theme as we talk a little bit of asphalt. We're going to talk asphalt with Grant Thompson, but at the same time, his first ever time on dirt. And he did a damn good job. And we'll break that down with him. Get a preview coming up of Championship Weekend at Pensacola. You guys stick around. Thirsty Thursday. Clean air is good. Times like this. 6 p.m. Central, 7 o'clock Eastern. Right here on Racing America and RodneyRodriguezRacing.com. Dirty air is just a tad bit better. Y'all stay there.
If sending your firstborn off to college brings a tear to your eye, but only because she's taking the convertible with her, then CarQuest Auto Parts is for you. If you've ever heard last call at an auto parts store, then CarQuest is for you. That's because CarQuest Auto Parts is for those who really know and care about their car. For all your steering and suspension needs, install Moog Parts, the choice of professional technicians. CarQuest is serious auto parts. Visit CarQuest.com.
Die Hard. Good choice.
Only one I trust.
Imagine if everything had the reliability, durability, power of Die Hard. Die Hards choose Die Hard, and they get it at Advance Auto Parts.
Whether it's trucks, muscle cars, or miles per gallon, At CarQuest, we do it all.
Dirty Air Live on your Thursday. We are in Texas, doing it on Racing America Live, and YouTube, Twitter, doing it every place that you can do this stuff. I do invite you to give me a follow on Twitter at the Rodney R. Dirty Air Race Show. Lots of different places to consume all of this madness. Great conversation right there with Neil Baggett as he wins the All-American 60, the 12th annual All-American 60 this past weekend at Jackson Motor Speedway in Jackson, Mississippi, winning in a loaded field of race cars this past weekend. And like I said, a very cool event to check out. And as I keep talking about each and every time, it is Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet GM Performance. They sponsor this program. They sponsored that amazing race and amazing weekend this past weekend. So check them out if you're looking for those sealed engines, 602, 604s. It is Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet GM Performance there in Brandon, Mississippi, and they will take care of you, and you be damn sure that you told them, that you tell them that you heard about them right here on Dirty Air. Going to the hotline for the second time tonight, just talking about the excitement right there of all the dirt track racing action that we were all a part of. And I got to tell you, one of the coolest things that I got to see this past weekend, one of my good buddies, I've gotten to see this guy, got to see him. I've gotten to he's actually grown up with me is actually what has happened. And getting to see this dude on the dirt track for the first time this weekend. Super excited to jump in and welcome back to Dirty Air my man Grant Thompson. Grant, how we doing, brother?
I'm doing great today, Mr. Rodney. How you doing?
Grant, I'm doing exceptionally well. So Grant, I mean, walk me through this thing. How'd this whole thing come about for you going dirt track racing in a crate late model? You know, I was talking to your dad. I'm like, man, it'd be one thing to jump in a street stock, but a crate late model, how'd this all come about?
Man, like I had no intentions of running a dirt race this year. I mean, I was really focused on just running the truck at Pensacola Mobile, but Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet, all those guys over there, Mr. Benny and Mr. Patrick, they've been super good to us all year this year, and that pretty much came about. Benny just came to me and he was like, "Hey man, do you want to get your feet wet in a dirt car?" And I was like, "I mean, anything with four wheels, I'll race."
That's right.
So I mean, I was excited about it. He's like, "Well, look, I got you with a good team. These guys are really good," and we ended up actually going to the race and. Bunch of really good guys, just really good equipment, really good race cars, and I mean, I was nervous about it because I mean, you're right. I thought I'd be street stock or in something a little bit slower than a late model,
right.
But I jumped right in the car, and I mean, I had a really good weekend. It took me a while to get the hang of the car, but I mean, just the whole feeling of being sideways and the left side of the car being up in the air, that was something I had to. Get used to. And after a day or so of practice, I got the hang of it eventually. And we actually weren't bad on Friday when it came to the hot laps and qualifying. I didn't do the best in qualifying. I messed up both ends of the racetrack on both laps and ended up qualifying 10th. And Ryan, who actually won the pro race or the 604 race, he was like, "Dude, you got it. Like, I'm not worried about how you do in the race. You'll be fine. Just use your head and don't make any bonehead moves." And that's exactly what we did. I went from I believe 10th to 8th in the heat race, so I was happy about that. I didn't want to tear the car up, just kind of seeing what everybody in front of me did as they were racing, and just pretty much just kind of cruised on to an 8th place finish and gained a lot of experience. Just kind of figured out how the track was, and that's that was one of the big things that I've learned from dirt to asphalt is that on asphalt you just show up on race day and just get right on the racetrack. And in dirt, man, you got to pack it and you got a water truck and you have all sorts of processes to get the track ready to race on. And I was like, what is this? It was cool to kind of see how that goes and just what the differences are between the pavement and dirt, and ended up having a really good weekend. Finished 5th in the feature, and I mean, all the guys at Midnight Motorsports were super pleased and they were happy with it. And I think they're wanting to do some more dirt racing next year, maybe even this year. Who knows?
Yeah.
I had a really good weekend for sure.
So Grant, your thoughts, because to me, I know, and have never been the caliber of driver that you are, even though that I'm like, centuries older than what you are. But to me, the weird, the weirdest thing to me was I'm always used to being in control. The finesse. I mean, it's like you dive the car in there, you kind of massage that thing and work the gas and do all this different stuff. But when you get on the dirt, it's like you just flat foot this thing around, and like you said, the car's going every which direction and bouncing around and all this different stuff. But that means that you're going fast. That means that you're going fast. Where on asphalt, when you're sliding around, you're losing. You're losing speed. But it's a totally different world, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you're 100% right. I mean, like when you're on dirt and the thing's sliding all over the place and you're bouncing up and down, that's fast. And I'm like, how is this fast?
How is this
I
fast?
mean, you're all over the place. You're hitting people. You're sliding around, slinging dirt, and if you're 90 degrees sideways on asphalt, that means something's wrong.
You're in
you
trouble.
gotta fix something.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely weird for sure. But I mean, and I give a lot of credit to these dirt guys, man. I've underestimated how hard it is and like how just much different it is and how much, preparation goes into it.
Yeah.
But now that I've ran a race, I'm like, well, I mean, this is a lot harder than I thought. And, I give a lot of respect to these guys who've been doing it for a while, like, the Davenports and the Bobby Pierces and all those really good guys. So,
yeah.
for sure.
I got to tell you, Grant, in your feature race, because we were there honed into you, and I was watching you because you were doing what I did when I first got on asphalt. You're kind of working down at the bottom because that's what we're programmed to do. I mean, you go down there and you kind of work the bottom. The yellow flag comes out, you do a restart, and you're up on the top shelf. And I'm like, oh, man. And you pass some cars up on the top side. Talk about that part right there. When it finally comes alive, it's like, okay, let me use up the racetrack. That's what you do in one of these dirt cars.
Right. I mean, that was one of the things that I was learning is, what makes the bottom faster than the top and vice versa. And I was, I was talking to Ryan about it. And one of the biggest adjustments that I've ever had to deal with is not having a spotter.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the biggest things I had to adjust to. But, I mean, I had a Kaysen, which is Mr. Aaron's son. He usually runs the car that I was racing. But he was, he had these two poles. And he was like, giving me signs on like, hey, you need to move up to the top. You need to move to the bottom. There's somebody behind you wanting to get around you. And I just kind of kept an eye on them, and they were just kind of telling me where to be. And I went to the top for a few laps, and I gained some ground on a few guys, and they were like, go back to the bottom. And I went back to the bottom, and I passed a few cars, and I was like, this is very, like, strategic and just moving around on the racetrack to find out what's fast.
Yeah.
So that was very different for sure.
Yeah, some of the weirdest advice I ever got from folks trying to teach me how to race dirt. It's like, you got to read the dirt, you got to read the track. I'm like, dude, I don't know. It looks brown. I don't know what it looks like. Right? It looks brown. I don't know how to read that. I mean, but dude, you were great. You were super great. Let's go forward. So here we go. Championship weekend for you. Back in the truck, heading to Pensacola. Kind of talk about the truck program this year, man. You have been dominant there at Pensacola, and it looks like things really looking good there for the 54 truck as we head into championship weekend at Five Flags.
Yeah, for sure, man. We've had a really good year so far with this truck. We decided to kind of step back and stop trying to chase the next ladder and just race what we can afford, and that's what we've done this year. And I feel like we've done a really good job. Obviously, in the past, I've ran trucks for a few years now. I've worked with a bunch of good guys like Kurt Britt, and he's pretty much taught me and my dad everything we need to know about this whole truck stuff. And yeah, we've been pretty good this year. We were planning to do a little bit of traveling for some purse money, but some stuff didn't work out. But we actually ended up running Pensacola. And I think we ran 5 races so far, and I've won 3 out of the 5, which has been a really good year for us so far. And we're just trying to continue that this weekend. We don't have a huge points lead, but we have enough of a little cushion to just make sure we have a good weekend and don't have anything go wrong.
Yeah.
So that's just one thing we got to work on.
Yeah.
Is just having a good weekend.
No doubt. Keep it all in one piece. That's the main thing. So, lastly, Grant, and thanks for jumping on this evening. Postseason stuff. I mean, once you get past all of this, is there more dirt? I know I was talking to your dad. I said, let's bring him over. Let's put him on dirt in Texas. What are you planning to do in the postseason with some of the big race stuff that I like to call it?
I'm not 100% sure yet as far as the dirt stuff goes. I would love to do another race or two before the year ends. We're definitely looking forward to running the Fall Classic with Racing Dynamics towards, I believe it's in November or October. I'm not 100% sure.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to finish out the year with the truck at Pensacola. We're planning to run the truck race at the Snowball this year. But besides the Fall Classic, we really don't have any guaranteed plans as far as racing goes for this year. I'm hoping to if we get an opportunity to run the Snowflake or even the Snowball for a team, that'd be really awesome. But we don't have any guaranteed plans yet for as far as Derby goes. But if anything comes up, it comes up. But I think we're just going to run the 2 or 3 races we got scheduled for the end of the year.
Yep, no doubt. You never know. We got a little bit of time in there, so hopefully that does happen for you, man. It was great to see you guys this weekend. Great job out there, dude. That was so fun to watch. I love it when you see when you go to the dark side. They always say when you go to dirt, you go to the dark side. And I'm like, Grant Thompson went to the dark side this weekend, so really,
nice.
Really cool stuff, man. I hope to see you and the family coming up very soon at a racetrack. Great job this weekend, dude.
Thank you, Mr. Rodney. I appreciate you having me on the show.
You got it, man. Take care.
Yes, sir.
You bet. There he goes, Grant Thompson. And it really was cool this weekend to watch him out there because I was kind of in contact with a bunch of folks where they were talking about, just him kind of learning on Friday. And like I said, I mean, it's one thing if you're going to dive in to if you've been programmed to race asphalt for all of your life, and then you go to dirt. I mean, shit, a hobby stock or one of these things like that, or a Hornet Sport Compact, something like that. Yeah, you dive in there and sit there, do that. He's in one of these crate late models, and it was a very good crate late model car. So that was the other part of that, to where it's like this is a very fast race car, and Grant did a really good job to sit there and figure this thing out. And I tell you, in that feature race, when it was all said and done, they knew that Mr. Asphalt, Grant Thompson, was there racing that one this past weekend at Jackson Motor Speedway. Great conversation right there with my man. You guys stick around. Coming up, I'll tell you about some races this weekend and give you some of my favorite ones that I'm looking forward to. Clean air is good. Times like this, Thursdays. Hey, man, dirty air is just a tad bit better. Everybody talks about clean air. Dirty air is good. Hey, and we got football coming up, so I'm going to let you guys out a little bit earlier so you can watch some Detroit and Kansas City coming up. Stick around. It's Dirty Air.
And under the hood, Advance Auto Parts introduces Speed Perks, a new rewards program. Spend $30 and get $5 back on your next qualifying purchase. Real rewards, real fast. It's about time you get rewarded, really rewarded, for doing what you love. New Speed Perks from Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back to the garage.
See store to sign up or visit speedperks.com for details.
Die Hard. Good choice.
Only one I trust.
Imagine if everything had the reliability, durability, power of Die Hard. Die Hards choose Die Hard, and they get it at Advance Auto Parts.
It is Dirty Air on your Thursday. Great conversations tonight. Neil Baggett, the winner of the $6,000 12th annual All-American 60 at Jackson Motor Speedway for the blazing fast-ass super late models. And we just talked to our man, Grant Thompson. He hits championship weekend in the trucks trying to nail that championship right there. And coming off of his first ever time on the dirt, and it really was a cool transition there to see him do everything that he did right there and put all of that together. Again, all of these shows, if you happen to miss them, you can catch them on the Racing America Facebook page on replay. You can catch them on the RPM Multimedia YouTube page. They're available right there as well. All of that, and I do invite you to be a subscriber to RacingAmerica.tv because there are huge things coming up this weekend, and just kind of talking about some of that stuff. Saturday, let's just talk about some of the stuff that you get to see on Racing America on Saturday. This is just Saturday, my friends, just Saturday if you are a subscriber. $12.99, I think is what that thing costs. You got Oxford Plains, you got Citrus County, and then you've got Night of Champions #1 in Pensacola, which is going to be the Outlaws, the Trucks, the Sportsmen, and the Pure Stocks. Night number 2 will be later, September 22nd and 23rd, when you got the Alan Turner Pro Late Models, and then with the Supers, that you're going to nail all of that down, coming off of a rescheduled, situation right there. So just all of that right there. A lot of folks want to talk about, well, it costs some money to do these streamers and all that. Let me tell you guys, if you're going to pay that amount of money and you get just those 3 races that I'm talking about, 3 events, not 3 races, because that's full throttle action right there, full nights of action that you get right there. Then if you come back on Sunday, after your NFL or in between your NFL, you're going back to Oxford, then you go later to Slinger. You've got all of that right there. That's all on Racing America. So, take advantage of that. That's a really cool thing. Speaking of Pensacola, we heard it on the Bull Ring, and I think it was actually on Monday or Tuesday as well that we heard Tim and the folks talking about the 56th Annual Snowball Derby. It's been a question for a long time that it's come to pass now when it comes to whether it be the Snowball Derby or the Chili Bowl to the purse. What does it cost to win? What are you going to get to win versus what it costs to get there? And again, I will go and battle you. Come at me. I will go at you. If you want to talk about what you're going to get to win at the same time versus what you're going to spend, who has caused that? We have caused that. We racers have caused that. That's just the battle of the industry. But $35,000 to win will be the Snowball Derby this year, and I'm sure there's going to be contingencies. There are going to be other contingencies in place for the 56th Annual Snowball Derby that's going to be happening there Sunday at 1 o'clock Central at Five Flag Speedway. $35K to win, $20K for second, $10,000 for the third place spot, and this is, I think, one of the biggest things. And there will be an argument for what it costs versus what you get. $2,000 to start in a super late model race to me is a pretty big deal, and especially an event the caliber of the Snowball Derby. And I applaud Tim, Bryant and Miss Pat and everyone there that has they've continued to work to try to build this into a bigger product. And the whole thing with this is, they don't have to do that. They don't have to find those additional monies to enhance that purse, to make it. You remember it grew to 30, it grew to 20, and then grew to 35. Whatever. They don't have to do that because, guys, we're going to show up no matter what. We're going to show up. The teams are going to show up no matter what. And that's good and bad. But the simple fact that this thing has grown to where it's going to be $35,000 to win that race. And, of course, they're super teams. You talk about the Donnie Wilson Motorsports, and you talk about all these different folks that are going to be absolutely the shoe-ins to be a part of that. But it's just additional money that continues to come into this weekend that's going to grow, and it's going to be across the board. It's going to be across the board. And I know that there's a lot of folks that are being a part of really cool things to not only grow the Snowball Derby itself, but the Snowflake, but the Pure Stocks, the trucks. All of them, because this really is 3 to 4 days, a full week, for crying out loud, of just the Super Bowl of short track racing, and that's progress. That's progress. That's the only way that we can put that. And I was so excited to see that yesterday, and a big ring of the bell there to Tim and Miss Pat and everyone at Five Flag Speedway and the folks that are really sitting there trying to make this a bigger deal for folks to be a part of. Great program right here on Thursday night. As always, it's always such a good time to dive in with you guys here on Dirty Air. We do it live, and we just bring folks on. Neil Baggett, big winner, $6,000, super late models, ripping Jackson Motorsports Speedway apart this past weekend. What a great show. And the crate races were great as well. The local classes were great. The fan, man, that place was jammed. I don't know if you could see it, if you caught it on Flow, but, man, there were people everywhere. And that's our plight. Got to get people to the racetrack. And they definitely did that at Jackson this past weekend. Grant Thompson, he'll be at Pensacola this weekend, chasing that track championship on championship night number 1. Dirt track racer extraordinaire now after night number 1 in one of those great late models. Super good stuff. Guys, find a local racetrack this weekend. And if you can't find one, you can't get to one, Racing America and a bunch of other badass streamers will have you covered. Support short track racing. That's the basis. That is the grassroots. That's where it all starts. And support that NASCAR stuff too. Watch that stuff. Help those TV ratings. The NFL's firing off. We as racing folks need to let the football people know that we still do what we do. All right, guys. We'll do it again next Thursday right here. 6 p.m. Central, 7 o'clock Eastern. They say clean air is amazing, and it is. But times like this, dirty air is just a tad bit better. We talk racing right here. You guys be well. Have a great weekend.